the sort of person that likes to be frightened. I like to watch things like that. But after it's finished, I won't go out the room on my own.
It's Saturday evening in 1975. The clock has just struck 5:30. Even Mum and Dad are joining in for the television event of the week. They won't let you eat your tea in the living room though, because you'll spend more time hiding behind the sofa. For nearly 70 years, generations of children have been terrified by an onslaught of evil aliens, creepy new planets, or whatever else happened to invade their living rooms during Doctor Who. By the mid-70s, the programme was at its peak. Prime Saturday slot, high viewing figures, and, crucially, a darker tone. Stories became more gothic, more violent, and more psychologically intense. This was no longer solely children's television. For many, this became the definitive Doctor Who. But it didn't remain this way. By the 80s, under new and eccentric producer John Nathan Turner, things had changed significantly. Bright colours and a tone that felt distinctly theatrical. So what happened? How did Doctor Who move from gothic horror to something far more camp? To answer this, we'll have to go back in time. In the mid-70s, producer Philip Hinchcliffe reshaped Doctor Who around horror. Not parody, but pastiche. A deliberate borrowing from existing gothic forms, such as Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde and Hammer horror, reworked in earnest rather than mocked. In dingy alleyways and ominous Victorian manor houses, the Doctor is a Sherlock-like figure with Sarah Jane as his Watson, investigating the gruesome murders of malignant aliens and ancient evil. This version of the programme feels grounded and genuinely threatening.
Something's very wrong.
Doctor, I don't like it.
Something's going on contrary to the laws of the universe.
Violence is not exaggerated nor undercut. It is presented with seriousness.
Doctor Who programmes have changed in a nasty way because it has become more like a war and horror film that is on at 11 o'clock at night, especially The Brain shown on Saturday 10th.
This shift brought increased scrutiny. One disgruntled viewer wrote in 1974,
"Does the producer of this unpleasant effort really expect a not too bright child to know the difference between grim reality in Cambodia and a jolly little Saturday romp with the Doctor?"
This letter reflects a broader concern. The programme had moved beyond what children should encounter, yet it also underestimates its audience.
When the man got crushed in the machine and was put into the soil in the garden. Well, he did deserve it because he was trying to kill Sarah and the Doctor. He wasn't very nice.
While real-world violence was already present in contemporary media, Doctor Who reframed fear through fiction, where good ultimately prevails.
Because the baddies have got to be got rid of anyway.
For many parents, however, the programme was only ever meant to be a jolly little Saturday romp. Pressure to return to that expectation would soon intensify.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mary Whitehouse speaking. Hello, everyone.
The National Viewers and Listeners Association, led by Mary Whitehouse, argued that the programme had become unsuitable for children entirely.
Particularly at this time.
Now, there's one particular programme, and I can see it still in my mind's eye, where Doctor Who, the final shot of the episode was Doctor Who drowning. You see, that's how it finished, and the image left in the minds of the children.
The episode she's talking about is called The Deadly Assassin, which, in fairness to Whitehouse, does feature some of the most terrifying horror found anywhere in the classic series. This crossed a line. Threat no longer felt safely fictional, but uncomfortably close to reality. As a result, the sequence was edited in subsequent broadcasts, reflecting an increasing sensitivity within the BBC to public complaint and regulatory pressure. White House's objections were not simply moralistic, but were institutionally consequential. So let's compare this scene to one from the camp era.
And who are you? The Rani! Stay back! This is idiotic!
Now, when the Doctor encounters a mortal enemy, physical threat gives way to theatrical display. Brutal violence is replaced by slapstick. Danger is no longer presented as something to be endured, but something to be mediated.
How dare you! The white flag is the accepted signal for truce throughout the civilized universe!
Instead of using his fists, or cyanide in one case, he uses wit
Your charm is only matched by your compassion.
and moral
You
speeches.
know about life, Gavrock. You deal in death. Lies, treachery, murder are your currency.
Reshaped into a form far less likely to provoke the same reaction. During the Gothic era, he can be morose and cold at
We
times,
told him it was too late.
Oh, sometimes you don't seem...
Human?
almost Holmesian in his apathy towards the death that surrounds him.
A man has just been murdered.
4 men, Sarah.
McCoy, by contrast, plays the role with an overtly performative energy, lighter and more theatrical.
Miss,
There have been complaints about the violence. And so once again, what do you replace it with? Well, we could maybe soften it with more humour, more physical humour.
Producer Nathan Turner, as well as McCoy, came from a background in light entertainment and pantomime. That influence begins to shape the programme into something altogether more camp. Camp, as outlined by Susan Sontag, is a mode of stylization and artifice in which seriousness is heightened to the point that it becomes knowingly performed rather than simply sincere.
I used to think that we weren't nearly violent enough, but we should be enormously violent, so violent that it was theatrical and everybody would laugh or think, gosh, that was theatrical.
Nowhere is this more evident than in Paradise Towers, which embodies this tension between seriousness and artifice. Themes that may appear mature are realised in a softer manner. Adapted from the science fiction novel High Rise, the title is paradoxical, as there's nothing paradisal about the place. It's an off-world apartment block where social order has collapsed, replaced by a dystopian regime obsessed with its own absurd rules. On paper, this is a dark premise. However, its execution is markedly different from the Gothic era.
Your name is abominated in every civilized world. Wherein that name be said, Satan, Sados.
When the Doctor faces Sutekh in Pyramids of Mars, Tom Baker's performance leaves one believing that the hero is genuinely unsure if he'll survive the ordeal.
Kneel! Kneel before the might of Sutekh.
Even confined in his chair with his face obscured, Gabriel Wolfe's delivery portrays evil in earnest.
You are an ant, a termite, abase yourself, you groveling.
The truly powerful have no need to shout. Compare this to the main villain of Paradise Towers, the Chief Caretaker.
Before I destroy them.
Thinly veiled caricature of a certain Austrian painter, his portrayal of authority is exaggerated to the point where seriousness begins to collapse. Where Sutekh embodies quiet menace, the Caretaker becomes a stylized figure of control.
May I remind you that there is a rule book, and the rule book says that the orders of the Chief Caretaker are never to be questioned.
This also marks the shift from pastiche towards something far closer to parody, in a manner that more resembles ridicule than homage.
They buried me away because I wanted to stop them using the towers.
Quite opposite to the brain of Morbius, which uses its source material of Frankenstein to amplify fear, with a makeshift monster that's truly the stuff of nightmares. Paradise Towers does so to minimise fear, giving us a monster that's little more than an oversized bath toy, overcompensated for by Bonnie Langford's screams.
Oh gosh, do I have to scream? It's just a thing.
Because John Nathan Turner told you to.
An unfortunate side effect was that female characters were also stylized as damsels in distress.
Hurry! Hurry! Would you care for a cup of tea? Yes, thank you.
This is further evident in one of the story's most striking elements.
She's nearly here, dear. Oh, my goodness, Tabby, look at that table, quick.
Cannibalism. In isolation, this is as dark as anything found in the Gothic era. But here, it doesn't quite feel that way. The old couple barely conceal their intentions, practically announcing them.
What's your name?
Mel.
Oh, Mel, what a delicious name.
The danger Mel faces is not remotely concealed, but performed.
Tilda and I will feed you up, won't we?
While Mel remains oblivious till the last moment.
A joke's a joke, but this has gone on long enough.
I do think by now you should be appreciating that though Tabby and myself are not averse to a humorous remark now and then.
It's the Ugly Sisters from Panto, isn't it?
Camp, isn't it? Did they enjoy doing this?
They loved it.
Yeah.
Depicting urban decay through a glorified Hansel and Gretel parody aligns perfectly with camp. Yet in the brain of Morbius, a similar scenario unfolds quite differently. When evil scientist Solon politely entertains his guests, the underlying threat from a charismatic host is framed as genuinely tense and uncomfortable. Strange compliments such as
What a magnificent head.
are suitably vague, while carrying the unsettling possibility of being taken literally. Rather than spelled out to the viewer, the danger is implicitly felt through atmosphere.
Yes, modelling is one of my hobbies, you know, but unfortunately this is not a very good example.
No, I thought I recognised the face.
No. You're mistaken.
Here, politeness implies horror. In Paradise Towers, it replaces it. And need I even comment on the polar opposite differences in colour, lighting, costume, and performance style, not least with how the flesh-eating pensionist Just Desserts is portrayed. Quite a bit more comical than Deadly Poison, an act of moral greyness that would no longer be tolerated in the climate of White House and Thatcher. But what if I told you that even this new approach didn't eliminate criticism from angry parents?
I would ask for your written explanation for the scene of a young girl tied to a kitchen chair whilst another person sought to terrify her with a 9-inch kitchen knife.
Even when the tying up in question was done with a crochet shawl, and she's immediately saved in a manner quite as ridiculous as you might imagine.
My name is The third time we've had it repaired.
Evidently, no amount of tonal softening could please everyone. For some viewers, the issue was no longer how Doctor Who depicted danger, it was that it was depicted at all. Doctor Who didn't become more camp simply by chance. It was shaped by pressure, institutional responses, and changing production priorities. What makes this shift especially revealing is that Doctor Who by nature is a programme of reinvention. It doesn't simply repeat itself, but adapts in response to the culture around it. The transformation shows how a long-running family programme negotiates fear, censorship, and audience expectations simultaneously. Rather than marking a simple decline, the move from gothic horror to camp reflects an attempt to sustain its identity under new constraints. Like the Doctor himself, Doctor Who didn't remain fixed, it regenerated.